Should I try eating chips again? Are
Yay.
we? Are we working? Awesome. Are we just live? Yes. Perfect. Welcome back to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason and do it with audio. I'm here with my beautiful, wonderful co-host, Christy Santiago.
Happy Friday. And yeah, we're working it all out. We got it all figured out. Hopefully, actually, when I say we only mean Nacha. So that's for what we mean by we. Our Lord and Savior. Thank you. Save the day again. And we have a really fun show for you guys tonight, don't we, Matt?
I think we do. We do. For this fuck of a week, we have a fun show. And also, you guys, while we were muted, missed all the sugar-coated rainbows, which will go in one of our mouths. You guys can guess which one. You're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to taste the rainbow.
Or sometimes you do. Anyways, so that said, yeah, let's get on with it. We do have a wonderful, fun show for you guys tonight. Of us, okay, mostly me, probably. Christy, throwing some sunshine and rainbows at us, sugar-coated rainbows.
Yeah, I don't actually want to sugarcoat. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat anything. But yeah. I think that looking at it as a skeptic, and that's the what we try to put forth before anything else is to be skeptical. Yep. I think we're in a way better spot than we actually, than it feels. And I have reasons, but I'll get into those in a little while.
Cool. Well, before you get into those reasons, let me recap everyone on this Super Tuesday fuckaroo of a week. Are we all ready for the recap? Let me hear a hi, men.
Hi, men.
All right, so
Shannon has changed our lives. She has touched each of us individually forever.
All right. All right. Monday of this week, because I don't know what the fuck happened Sunday, so we're starting on Monday. Thank you. Monday's the only one that matters anyway. Lasagna, garfield, go on. Pete Buttigieg dropped out unexpectedly on Monday. Everyone was like, what the fuck is going on? Not because we like Pete Buttigieg. Even if you dislike Pete
the day Buttigieg, before Super Tuesday was like, okay.
Yeah, we're like, that's strange. Okay. Because, I mean, everyone knew that Joe Biden was going to win South Carolina. Mm-hmm. So, like, why would he drop out? And then, I believe the same day, I don't have the exact timeline, but I have the day time-wise. Amy Klobuchar dropped out. And at that point, you see a power play going on. You're like, oh, shit. Things are happening. And maybe we don't have to worry because as progressives here and humanists, we are cheering for Bernie Sanders. And a lot of the polls for Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar support and Joe Biden support even more so show that their second choice is for Bernie Sanders. Mm-hmm. So we're like, hey, each of them are going to get a little bump, but this will probably help Bernie. And right now, it looks like we may have been wrong because Tuesday comes around and Joe Biden won. Is it 11 states or more? Is it like 12? Or how many?
I honestly.
Okay, it was a lot. We were
a lot to Bernie's 7.
Bernie got 7?
Yeah.
Okay, if Bernie got 7, then he only got, I think, 8 because I think there were only 15 states.
No, we'll have to look it up. Honestly, I wasn't even. That's not what I was. The day of, I remember, but it feels like so much has happened since then.
Okay, let me just check us real quick.
Yeah, do that. How many states?
Okay, Alabama, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, and Virginia. I think that's 14. Double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 14. Okay, 14. And that is Biden, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Biden won 9. I apologize. I will change it on my notes. I was guessing from memory. I guessed wrong from memory. So I apologize, everyone. So Biden won 9. And we thought, worst case scenario, and I'm quoting Kyle Kalinske because he's the one that he's the most right about things that I find. So he was guessing worst case scenario, Bernie only wins 8 states. So that didn't happen. So he won 5 states. He won 5 states, and almost all of them are finally done reporting now. The only ones that aren't done are California, Colorado, Maine with like 2% left, Massachusetts with 1%, and Utah with 26%. Jesus. Yeah. So moving on from there, Joe Biden won 9 states, and some of them by like a landslide. He won by a lot. Very strong wins. Next day, Bloomberg dropped out. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, all right, okay. Didn't think he'd give up that easily when he spends, what was it? Hold on, I have it down here. He spent $250 million on ads in Super Tuesday states. And he has spent $580 million on ads altogether. So that's a lot to just give up right after Super Tuesday. But I mean, Biden won so many. Bernie can only walk away with a plurality right now, I think. So Bloomberg's already kind of done his goal. It's just so blatant. Anyways,
can I throw some sunshine on that?
Yes, please.
All right, let me throw a little bit of my sunshine on that. So, of all those southern states that Biden won, in 2020, in November, Trump is going to win those states. It's not going to go to a Democrat. So Biden won Trump states. Of course he did. He's more conservative. Of course he did. He won the states that are going to go to Trump. They just are. Maybe 1 or 2 will be purple. Also, I want to say that all of the numbers, it's good to when you're in the skeptical community, it's great that people encourage you to be more skeptical than you are, and I love that. I love learning that I needed to be a little bit more skeptical, and I did. Those numbers are better for Bernie than they were in 2016. Like across the board, we're better. With more people in it, they were better. They took into account, if there was just Hillary and Bernie, of course they're both going to have more. It's not split up. I mean, there was so much to it. So now that the numbers are in and we've had a chance to analyze the numbers, he has done better. And that's it might seem tedious in the grand scheme of things. It's not, though. And I want to tell you why it's so important to vote your conscience no matter what, is because there's data and research. And if you feel a certain way, that value, that way of life cannot be represented in the government because nobody's claiming it. So, we might not win certain races, but we want to win the war. Not each battle is going to be won, is what I'm saying. And so the sunshine on that is that the numbers are way better. So, and also that those states that Biden won are going to be taken by Trump. And I'm not saying Bernie should stop visiting them. There are people in these states that are so important. They're part of the American fabric. And I think that it's imperative that Bernie still goes, because this movement is bigger than him. This movement it's not going to end when Bernie's light goes out. You know, I can't say the words D-I-E and Bernie. This is when his little light goes out. It's going to happen. And this movement is so much bigger now. And I feel that, you know, our generation and this generation all the way to the Zoomers, you know, we are going to be the generation of progressives that bring about the second progressive era in this nation. The first one was brought about by the movement with FDR. It changed the fabric of this nation. He was voted for 4 times in a row with landslide victories, because that's what the people wanted. And when he died, from then until Reagan, they chipped and chipped and chipped away at this New Deal, and we swung really hard to the right. And then Reagan came in and just hacked it up. You know, the corporate tax percent went from, I think it was 74. Eisenhower, it was 91. He was a Republican. And hacked it down to like 21%, 15 they could get away with by doing all of the things that they do and hiding at places. So much has changed, and because it's been an unfettered capitalism, because it's been an unchecked banking system, a system that gambles with the livelihood of the regular people, because these immoral things have happened and have gone on too long, the pendulum is going to swing hard the other way, because history shows us it will. And it's going to be a progressive era, and it's going to happen no matter what, unless some sort of a fascist, you know, wave comes through and shuts things down. And I just don't see that happening. I see that this movement is bigger than us, and we might not have won that exact battle on Super Tuesday. We did succeed farther than we did in 2016. So that is a success. And there's a lot of things. It's not black and white like we always say. It's gray. There's so much gray. I think that there's a lot to take away from that day. And as someone who's skeptical and wants to encourage skepticism, being in the moment is great. Feeling all those feels are great. Talking to people about it is great. But remember, the data's not in yet. So wait a couple of days, feel it out, read as much as you can, and then take it all in and realize where we are. Don't be hyperbolic. It's over. You know, it's so not. I want to say that as far as votes, they're neck and neck. As far as delegates, they're not much different. It's about half and half right now.
There's still a lot to gain.
There are almost 60% of the total delegates are still yet to be had. So it's over 50% of the delegates are still to, you know, get, and so they have to fight for them. And since a lot of the southern states have already voted, I am hopeful. I'm not sugarcoating anything. You got to think Bernie's message speaks to everyone, as long as if you took him out of it and you just said, here is the platform, this is what we believe in. You know, it's like 70% of the country or more, 80% for Medicare for all. You know, these are mainstream issues. So it's going to be about the regular people getting off their asses and doing something about it, because for so long we've sat out as the citizens. We've just sat out and let other people did it and then blamed them when things went wrong. And nothing worth doing or having is going to be easy. But our Constitution still says we the people. And if we the people can get in there, and if we the people can pay attention and participate, I would hate to see Bernie not be the nominee. And we'll talk about that when that happens. but that's not the case. So I think that we just have to fight even harder. You've got to realize that Bernie, his message is, it threatens the system that props up the system. So like all these branches are terrified of him. And I also want to say one of them is, okay, Super Tuesday happened. Wednesday morning, the stock market, health insurance, Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, their stocks went flying up because who takes money from them? Joe Biden. So
I was gonna say, let me guess.
right. It's all together. And so Bernie, he needs our help. It's not, Bernie can't do this alone, and it's going to be a movement well after he's gone. You know, it took people in a movement from the 1900s through the 1920s, all the way to the 30s to get something to happen, you know, and they had wartime. So imagine if we could end the wars, we could really make things better for everyone. And isn't that, that's why I do this even. I think that if each one of our goal in life could be as simple as making each place you find yourself a little bit better than the way you found it. That's it. If we all did that and we all looked out for each other and fought for Medicare for all, I think that we could turn the tides and make this happen. But we're not. It's not going to happen by thinking, oh, a lot of people are volunteering, a lot of people are doing it. You know, if you're not comfortable talking to people, volunteer and let them know I am uncomfortable. I get awkward. Doesn't matter. You can send out stickers. Like you can do anything to help. It's so important.
Yeah. You can donate $5. You can talk to someone at work.
You can donate 50 cents.
Yeah, you can do that. All of it helps, and that lowers the average too. So that the 50 cents almost helps more. Makes them look even better because they're getting those small dollar donations.
So I have some more sunshine on a few other topics we're going to get to, which helps keep it in perspective because it's been a really shitty week. You're right.
It has. It has. So I'm going to finish our little rundown real quick. To recap for everyone who just joined in. Monday, Pete Buttigieg dropped out. Then Amy Klobuchar did. Then on Tuesday, Super Tuesday happened. Joe Biden won 9 states. Bernie won 5. Joe Biden won some by a landslide. Wednesday, Mike Bloomberg dropped out. On Thursday, Elizabeth Warren drops out. It is official now, right? Because I kept hearing like, okay, I was hearing like tiptoed answers. And we don't know who she's endorsing, but we do know that Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar both endorsed Joe Biden, and so did Beto O'Rourke, Beto my stork. And also on Thursday, we learned, it was Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not sure which one. Easy to look up, though. We learned that Tulsi Gabbard made the requirements to get to the
debate stage.
Yeah, the debate stage, because she had at least one delegate. She actually had 2.
Just 2? Yes, she does.
Yes.
From American Samoa, our brothers and sisters in Samoa.
Yeah. And
she actually goes and visits them, and that makes a difference.
Yeah, weird, huh? When you show people you care, they see that.
Yeah, it's funny thing that.
Yeah. So the DNC changed the debate rules, so now she can't go to the debate. They changed the rules just like they did to get Mike Bloomberg on. They changed the rules so Tulsi couldn't be on. Strange how they do that.
So gross.
And I'll tell you more on that one later because we're going to go through all of this in depth. So I'm not going to give you the whole Tulsi thing now. And right now, Biden stands in the lead with delegates at 625, and Bernie has 504. 48. So now, Christy, back to you with all the sunshine you would like to shine on this topic.
I would have to say about just run some numbers, a little bit of facts. So we just had a oligarch try to buy like literally take money out of his pocket and buy democracy. He spent $500 million on ads. And then there's this amazing tweet. I just found it to just kind of put things in perspective. And I love when that happens. When I see something, I read it and go, ooh, I didn't think of that like that. Why not? It's so simple. Bloomberg just spent $500 million on ads. The US population is 327 million. He could have given each American 1 million and still have money left over, 173 million to be precise. I feel like a $1 million check would be life-changing for most people. I agree. I agree. And that he wouldn't even feel that, people. Wrap your mind around that. Wouldn't even feel it. Like, it wouldn't make an impact on his budget. What budget? He doesn't have to have a budget. I'm sure he does. But
can you give me that math again real quick though?
500 million.
Yes. And you said he could.
And we have 327 million Americans.
Yes.
And if each American got $1 million from him.
No, that's not quite the right math though.
Oh.
He could still give them a hell of a lot of money. Sorry, I don't mean to like.
No, I did it on the paper right here.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you can't really see it. Yeah, right there.
So hold on, let me double check it because I thought I'd done that in math before. And I got a different answer. So he spent. Are you going with the 580 million that he spent?
No, I just did the 500.
500 mil. All right, we'll go 500 mil. Gonna double check your math on air because we like to double check things here.
And because you should never trust math, I do. For any reason, especially if it's like I really need this to be right, don't give it to me.
And what's the population number you went with?
327 million.
327. Okay, I usually go 25. 3, and
I mean, he's got billions.
Yeah, he does have millions.
Right.
So he could give, actually with that, as much as he has spent, he could give each person $1.50.
I saw that. I saw that.
If you divide all of his money up though, we'll highball it just a little bit. His 60 billion. If you divide that by 120, 123 million. You could give everyone $183.
Right.
Which is definitely more. That would pay everyone's electric bill for a month. I want to make sure we get the math right, because that's the thing that people are going to call us out on and be like, you can't.
We should link that
can't trust
so that people know what the hell we're talking about.
Okay.
Because it is so good. Oh, okay, let's see. I think I have it saved, right? Where is it? Oh, right. And then.
All right, so. All right. Let's see. Where do we want to hit next real quick? Because I have a couple graphics if you're getting your next thing together.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. All right. So something that irks me. Do you know where really grinds my gears?
All right.
Is we have this dilemma right now with Elizabeth Warren. What is she going to do? Right? Who is she going to endorse? Will she endorse? That's a really open question right now, because she may endorse Biden or she may endorse Bernie. Because right now I don't trust Elizabeth. Actually, I haven't trusted Elizabeth Warren since like the second month that she that she was running in. I thought she looked nice at first, and then I'm just wait, hold on. She's saying she's just like Bernie, but then she plays the identity politics card.
Yeah, a lot.
I don't like it. And it
Right.
gave me bad feels the whole time. That's why every time you hear me say, she's my third choice, is because I'm like, even her, she's like my third choice. But not a lot of good choices. Like first it's Bernie, then it's Tulsi, then it's Warren. And she's always my third choice because I still don't trust her. And I don't think she can win against Trump. And I'm glad we don't have to worry about that anymore, because I'm pretty sure she would lose, maybe more so than Biden, because of simply the one thing I always bring up, and because Donald Trump will never stop bringing it up, is the Pocahontas thing.
Yeah.
And the reason it bothers me is because, look, I get if you mislearned how close your heritage is with any Native American heritage. Myths go around families like that kind of often. That can be okay. She didn't go about it like, she didn't ride that wave very well. So that alone makes her make fun of a bull. The thing that really, really bothers me is that Bernie, Tulsi, AOC, three of my faves, all went to support people of Standing Rock, and the Native American didn't.
Wow.
Elizabeth Warren didn't. So that made me not trust her right off the bat. That's kind of my litmus test. And she wasn't there for that. Yeah, she bragged about being a Native American. That makes me mad, maybe a little petty. That's my feel about it.
Right. I don't have sunshine to add to that. I just have I guess I hate the freaking term worldview. It makes me want to punch a baby in the throat.
Get the babies away from Christy now.
Worldview. Through humanism, when I see a future that I want to fight for, that I believe in, it is an egalitarian future. It is a future where we don't need Black activists. We don't need feminists. We are just people. Now, I know that's utopia and probably never going to happen. However, it is still worth fighting for. It is still worth teaching our children. It's important, I think, to see each other as fellow humans, and then our differences are a value that we can learn about each other. They're not something that separate us from each other. I see that as a great thing to fight for. That being said, when a woman is saying, vote for me because I'm a woman, I have a problem with that. I think Bernie is the best person to be our president. If her policies were what his are, and better, she would be the best person to win the candidacy. I don't like using identities to get ahead, using that type of a privilege. I don't even know how to. That doesn't help an egalitarian future in my eye. It does not help that. If she were to say, look, these are all my policies, this is how I'm going to get there, yeah, I have a plan for that, I have a bill for that, and then I read them and I was like, God, she is so progressive. I really like her view for the future, and she has a way to do it, and she's a girl. Like, this is awesome. Our first female president is going to be a badass. Like, that's how that should be in my perfect future. Not, yeah, I have a vagina, therefore I should be the president, because we haven't had one that has a vagina yet. No, we haven't.
But she's a vagina with a plan.
Right. Right. It doesn't help, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, it is sad. There's this really good video put together, I think by, not exactly by Warren, but people around her, that, you know, she does this pinky promise thing with little girls. It's so good. It just is. That makes me go, that's the Elizabeth I started believing in. The Elizabeth that told bankers where to go, how to go, and what they did wrong, and how it was illegal, and how she was going to go after them. That aggressive, progressive, you know, that also told little girls, right, I am up here in what is considered a man's job for, you know, eternity. And I am aggressive about it. And I get shit done. And you can too. I love that. But not because I'm a woman. No, because you are the best person. And that, you know, and that doesn't negate that there has been suppression of females. It doesn't negate that. I just think in my future, and the one we should all fight for, because I am a female, because I'm a male, because I'm in anything, wouldn't, you know, it would be, these are my policies. This is what I've been fighting for. This is my record. Will you come be a part of this movement with me? And I'm a woman, and I'm a man, and I'm an old person, and I'm a young person, and just people, that's the most important thing. So yeah, I don't like that part that she's used, and I'd never seen her act that way. I feel, and this is not like a fact, I didn't find this, there's no sources, this is my opinion. When Warren campaign took on a lot of new people, she took on a lot of Hillary people, and things changed really fast. It was almost like, I know this stuff hasn't worked before, but this is how we do it, so you have to do it too. Yeah. I feel bad for Warren. As a humanist, she's still a person. She's still a person who has done more good in her life than she's done bad. That's for sure. And she does have a lot to say, and she does have a voice, and it really hurts my feelings when she was a sneaky snake. I mean, it does. It sucks. But she's not unforgivable. So I just think that, for my opinion on her choice ahead of her, if she does not get behind Bernie, she is a sellout. Like, I don't know. She's a sellout. Are you a progressive? Are your values progressive? Are what you're saying you want to fight for the same thing as what you are wanting to and willing to fight for? Or are they just you lip service? Are you just saying things? Right. Because if you really do want to get rid of student debt, if you really do think that every person deserves healthcare, vision, hearing, dental as a human right, then the only lane to get in is Bernie. And Bernie's too nice. He is too nice. I wish he would be meaner. I wish he would be more aggressive and stronger. I don't want him to change. I just want him to win. And so I don't see any problems with Bernie, accepting her advocacy for his presidency. I don't see any problem.
I think that would be really, really good.
Right, because... but there's going to be a flood of people who are going to call out all the things that she did to hurt Bernie, which she did. However, y'all need to because we're trying to win. So this is when it would be unity is a good thing. If she gets behind Bernie, right, I will accept that, and at the time being, I will put on hold, all of my criticisms of what she did wrong, and let's try to win this. And then once she does have a spot in it, I mean, Bernie, promise her whatever you got to, because the country can either take a turn for the right. We've had 4 years of really bad and decades of policies that are against the people, and the system that punches down instead of up. it's time. I don't know if we will be able to ever not have a flawed democracy again. It's that scary. So I didn't,
Right.
like I said, I didn't have sunshine to add to that.
Right. If we don't get someone really progressive in there, it's going to suck. And if we have Trump for another 4 years, I mean, if we get Trump or Biden there, we might really lose our chance at having fair elections altogether, I think, because they're doing their best to stifle us now. I mean, where was it? In Texas, there were in some polling places, there were people in line for 3 hours after they closed the doors.
Yeah, for like 6.5 hours.
They didn't let everyone. Yeah, and they didn't let people vote. Like that shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Right.
Like
they actually, I have numbers on that. Talk for a minute. Let me get those.
Okay.
I need to leave them over here.
Okay. Well, yeah, you grab those. I'm gonna go and screen share real quick. And minimize this first. So I saw this on Twitter before we went live. I'm going to show you this one first. So we have, who should my vote go to since Warren dropped out? And you can see where Warren lines up with Biden and Sanders.
Right.
And this is how it should be decided. This is how Warren should make her choice, honestly.
Everyone
But
take a screenshot of that. Yeah, seriously, take a screenshot of that.
Please do. Please do. So we have this. Let me go ahead and read it out for you in case you are listening, as I do. Legalize marijuana federally. Sanders, Warren are for, Biden is against. Ban all fracking. Sanders is for, Warren is for, Biden is against. Enact a wealth tax. Again, Sanders, Warren for, Biden against. Cover everyone on a government-run health insurance. Sanders and Warren for, Biden against. Let all prisoners vote. Sanders for, Warren and Biden against. The U.S. should consider a jobs guarantee. Sanders and Warren for, Biden against. Focus deportation on criminals and national security threats. Sanders and Warren for, Biden against. Eliminate private insurance. Sanders and Warren are for it. Biden is against. Guarantee more than 12 weeks of paid family leave. Sanders is for. Warren and Biden are against. The government should end nuclear power. Sanders is for that. Warren's for that. Biden is against. College should be free. Sanders for it. Warren for it. Biden against. Student loan debt should be canceled for everyone. Sanders is for. Warren is not completely for that, and Biden is against. And consider eliminating the Electoral College. Sanders is for. Warren is for. Biden is against. So you can see who has more in common with Warren.
Yeah. Whoever screenshot that, crop it so it looks beautiful and tag Senator Warren with it on Twitter, like over and over and over again. Let her know if she wants these policies, she needs to get behind the only person that aligns with her.
Hashtag Warren make the right choice.
Yes.
Please. I have another graphic here for you real quick. Or should, you know what, do you want to stay on this topic?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I had the numbers for Texas when you're done. Okay,
awesome. Well, then actually we will wait. We will wait for this. I'll show you this graphic later. Sorry. Oh, actually, damn me. I have a different one. Since we're on Warren, I don't want to go back and forth on Warren all night. Let me here it is. Warren tweeted one thing today. I know that we will one day elect a woman to the White House.
I know this too.
I know this too, and that is fine. That is great.
She will be the best person for the job.
You think she will be?
No, we will elect the first president because she will be the best person for the job.
Yeah, I think I would love it if like Rashida Tlaib or AOC were elected to that. That would be fucking amazing. That would be amazing. I would love that. I'm not against a woman in the White House. I am just a woman who makes this the first thing they tweet when they drop out of the race or claim sexism is their biggest hurdle. That just doesn't appeal to me. And this is something that annoys me. And I actually found it funny that the thing underneath it was that. That's actually hilarious. Because she could be the first woman in the White House if we keep electing stupid people for the Democratic nominee. Honestly, I think that we have a high chance of, after Trump, getting Ivanka Trump. That's my like foresight. If we don't get a progressive in office, the next Republican leader is going to be Ivanka Trump or someone like her.
Right.
So, sorry, you can go on. I'm done screen sharing now and talking. Thank you.
McLennan County, home to Waco, Texas, closed 44% of its polling places from 2012 to 2018, despite the fact that its population grew by more than 15,000 people during the same time period, with more than 2/3 of that growth coming from Black and Latinx residents. 50 counties that gained the most Black and Latinx residents between 2012 and 2018 closed 542 polling sites, compared to just 34 closures in the 50 counties that have gained the fewest Black and Latino X residents. This is despite the fact that the population in the former group of counties has risen by 2.5 million people, whereas in the latter category, the total population has fallen by over 13,000. In 2012, there was one polling place for for 4,000 residents. So one polling place for 4,000 residents in 2012. By 2018, that figure had dropped to one polling place per 7,700 residents. A 2019 paper by the University of Houston political scientists found that after the county's transition to vote centers, more voting locations were closed in Latinx neighborhoods than in non-Latinx neighborhoods, and that Latinx people had to travel farther to vote than non-Hispanic whites. So, tell me about voter suppression isn't real again. Tell me, Ma. No, my mom just filling the name in. It could be anyone. I'm sure there are people that say that voting suppression isn't real on a regular basis, but I mean, tell me how that's not. So the lights hitting this right now, and so
it's so pretty.
That's so pretty. Look at that.
It is so pretty. You're rocking it. The Gray Squad.
That's right.
All right, so let me shed some moonlight on that.
I love
it. So this is incredibly important. I brought it up. I'm glad you had more than me just bringing it up. Because when this shit happens, when any kind of voter suppression happens, or just there are people still outside waiting to vote, this is something that we get to do every 4 years. This isn't a Cedar Point line. This isn't a line at Disney World for the rock and roller coaster. You don't fucking close it until everyone gets in to do the thing they came for. You just don't. I think there should be some legal ramifications for anyone who closes the booths early, for anyone who hasn't voted. I think that the media should be on this like shit on Velcro. Like, if someone's tweeting about it, then it should be journalistic malpractice to not fucking cover it. Like, everyone should know about this. And we should keep cameras on people because people worry about this. People worry about this, and for two different reasons. One, that they are suppressing the vote. Two, that they are falsifying votes.
They're making it harder to vote.
Right.
A single parent that doesn't have a car, that lives now further away from their polling place, if they had to pull a double that day and they cannot take it off because then they won't have enough for that week's bills, they don't vote. That's the point.
Yeah. And that's not fair to them.
Wrong. It's immoral. It's cruel. It's the opposite of what humanist values hold dear.
These are poorer areas too, where they vote. So they are probably more left-leaning because they need more government assistance. They need more socialist ideas to help their communities going. But anyways, that's not the main point. The main point is, if someone's trying to vote, if the polls are open and people are still wanting to vote, and if the polls are wanting to close, they should stay open, and we should keep cameras on. Like we should let people know what's going on until the last person votes, because this is something we should celebrate, not be afraid of on any side. We should have more democracy. More democracy
is better. Yeah.
Let's say it together. More democracy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, the thing is a lot of countries have a few of our states here do vote days or primaries on a Saturday or a Sunday even, because more people have that day off. But a lot of the workers in the service industry never have weekends off. So, you know, it's always going to leave people out. I feel like more democracy is better. That is a tenet of my beliefs that is like rock solid. And I feel like the only way that we could get a federal holiday, election day, primary days as a paid holiday, and election day as a paid holiday, so that people can afford to take it off or work and then get paid time and a half, you know, or double. I think that as a country, the only way that values like that, where we fight for each other and then put in policies that show that fire we have for each other to take care of one another, is going to be a Bernard Sanders or someone like him, someone of that like liberation theology of the 60s. You know, it's MLK, that fire. We have somebody right now, and the only way that we're going to be able to do that is to make sure that I want to prepare you guys. You know, a lot of things could happen and we could not win this one, and Bernie is too old. There would not be another chance.
Yeah,
but that doesn't
we shouldn't support him next time, because it wouldn't be good for his health.
Right. Yeah, honestly. It would be like Mike Gravel. You know, I fucking love that human.
Yeah.
That human would be the best human for the job. Period. But he is really, really old. But he would be like someone like that, someone of the MLK, of the liberation theology. I am actually researching liberation theology, kind of like off topic real quick. I am fascinated by it. I am having to rethink a couple of my beliefs, my tightly held ones, like anti-theism. With liberation theology, I really could get behind or be a part of that movement. MLK was part of a liberation theology, and he had atheists, Muslims, Catholics, Christians, Baptists. It didn't matter, because it was the tenets of the Bible that say, give away all your riches. The tenets of the Bible that say, you know, you shouldn't make money off of poor people. The tenets of the Bible that say, you know, how you treat the least among you is how I will judge you. And that was liberation theology. I will let you guys know. Maybe I'll cover it for like 10 minutes next week, because it is fascinating, and how the American empire shut it down. I mean, that's why we have prosperity gospel here in the States, is how the pendulum swung so hard because of the elite being so terrified of religion is strong and people follow it hard. And if the tenants say, give away all your riches, and the elite are like, fuck, it couldn't keep going. So the death squads, Reagan's death squads, the Contras, all that's involved with stomping out liberation theology. If you guys didn't know, you know, I'm a history buff. So I can actually, let me make a note to myself. So I'll write something up and share that with you next week, because I feel like it's relevant today. And I feel like it would be really easy for a demagogue like Trump to set up some death squads. We have Pompeo running the CIA. He's proud that he took classes on learning how to lie, cheat, and steal from people. He's so proud of that. I'm not saying the CIA shouldn't have to learn these techniques, but being proud of it is different. It's just that he's gross to me. He's gross.
I mean, he is gross. Yeah, well, why don't we just plan on liberation theology like as the main topic next week?
Yay.
It'd be fun.
Yes.
And then maybe I'll bring some kind of like philosophical, political topic as well to like throw back and forth as well.
I do. We have a Lord and Savior, and our Lord and Savior actually exists, and he talks to us. And mine said, Christy, CC Sleeper, asked you a question. Why is not endorsing someone a sellout perfectly reasonable to have the same values in different policy? I agree. And that's a logical stance to have. For me, seeing this as a movement, seeing this as a way, a Biden is a Hillary Clinton. A Biden is a Barack Obama, is a Clinton, is a, what's her husband's name? George Clinton.
Bill?
Bill Clinton.
Bill.
I totally brain farted his name. Yeah, it's going back, and it's going back to, I mean, Clinton said himself the age of big government's over, and took so many people off of programs and shut so many things down. Clinton signed out the Month Law, the Month Act, and you guys look up the Month Act, and it was keeping propaganda out of our news. It meant that if a news channel brought on a Ben Shapiro to put forth his ideas, they would have to, for that same segment, bring someone opposing. No matter what side they fell on, they would have to, and try to stay neutral. And what happened was these news stations and channels became conglomerates and got bought out by monopolies, and they kept in that stay neutral thing, but didn't allow them to challenge anything. See where that can go really bad? And then you take out the law that says you cannot purposely propagandize people. You cannot say something that isn't true to try to fix or control a narrative. That was not legal in our media. And so we have all these problems. And so for me, saying that it would be her being a sellout, I feel like, you know, there was a time when I totally believed in her. I thought she was just so badass. And everybody makes mistakes. So I take it as a whole. She's done far more good than bad. And this is a chance. Obviously, the numbers, you have to be realistic. Those numbers are not showing. She is not going to be the next president. It just isn't going to happen right now.
Right. This is more of a redemption thing, right. I think.
And still being a part of our country becoming something better than the way we found it, you know, doing something good so that the next generation can benefit instead of what has happened to us with things good happened, but also things didn't happen that could have happened to prevent a lot of bad. Like it was just a lot of going to sleep and let other people deal with it, and then saying the government's bad because of it, and losing the fact that we, the people, are the government. And if we are not proactively, you know, involved, then we really can't change anything. You know, the studies and the data's in that no matter what a country, our country, the people, if they all like 80% believe in something, there's still like no chance that we can even pass it. Here in my state, I'll speak for what happened under my state. This state, Florida, votes red all the time. However, as I'm always saying, and the data backs me up, when presented with policies, individual policies that help the people, the people vote for them overwhelmingly, even in very red states like Florida. We had a couple different amendments on our ballot this last time, and one of them was if you had served your time, no matter what it was, probation, jail, prison, doesn't matter. You had served your time. You got let out because your time was over. You're done. Your debt to society was over. You get to vote. That's it. Everyone said yes for the most part. There were some hardcores that, them criminals, those people. But yeah, we all agreed. Well, so that's us saying, we the people, we agree that should be the law. So it became the law. But then we voted in DeSantis, and this guy and his team of Trump sycophants are fighting it. The will of the people, subverting democracy. They're fighting it with everything they have because they, like the opposite of what happened to the ACA, how they started chipping at its funding and doing all these things, and now they're taking it to courts because it's unconstitutional. It's almost like the opposite is what they're doing here in Florida. They keep adding things to it. Sure, you can vote if you served your time. If at the day that you're done serving it, everything's paid up. If not, then you have to pay. You have to keep paying. And some people, that's going to be years and years from now. Like they've served there. Or there are a lot of people that can't pay and end up going back to jail because they couldn't pay. And so now what? They have to go to prison, and now they still can't vote. Citizens of any nation cannot, by definition and literally, be represented if they're not represented. They have to be represented. I feel, as Bernie does, as they do in Norway, a citizen is a citizen is a citizen. And I feel like ballots should go to jail. There's people in jail because they made bad choices. That doesn't mean they're a bad person, but they should still be represented, is what I'm saying. And I don't feel like that's radical. Maybe don't lock up so many people. There's just this huge population of people who made a couple bad choices. The way I see reality is everyone that I know, we are not wealthy and well off. Everyone is one decision away from being homeless, or one decision away from being bankrupt, or one decision away from losing their housing. If Stacy got sick, like really sick and couldn't work, we're fucked. I don't know. That's reality for most people. And we're just saying that this system allowed certain people to benefit so greatly from the system. All we're asking is that those people that benefited so greatly from this system, give back to the system that you benefited from. That's it. Just pay your fair share. And corporations are not people, and money is not free speech. And elections should be free and fair. So maybe I said, Elizabeth would be a sellout, and it sounds harsh. I just feel like we're at a fork. We are at a turning point. The gig is up. We know we've been scammed. We know it's a Ponzi scheme. We know that corporations, look up corporate coup d'etat and read all about it. Watch everything about it. The data's in. We know what happened and how it's been happening, and we have to take it back. I don't know if our democracy can handle 4 more years, and that is not I'm not being hyperbolic. It's not hyperbole. I don't think that it can. We're already subverting democracy in both parties.
A lot.
Already stealing elections.
Yeah, we already have, our resistance not resisting at all. Right?
Yeah. I just feel like they want to keep making all this money. Listen, for the resistance people, 4 more years of Trump means bank for them. That should make anyone's stomach turn. Yeah.
So, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Christy that I don't think our democracy can really take another 4 years, because it's been disintegrating for decades now, and we finally have a chance to save it. And we still have 60% of the delegates to win, right? We can still pull this off. We don't need to freak out and give up yet. That would be very irresponsible of us, because this fight is in our hands,
Yes.
right?
And
it's not
it's
in
literal
Bernie's
David
hands.
Goliath.
It is.
It is.
It is. And there's more of us than there are of them. Right. And we need to prove that. We need to talk logic as well. Like, we need to make arguments of basic things that kind of go for socialist ideas, is the way I'm looking at it. Like the fire department, like just making public funding for basic human needs. You can make these arguments really easy to your friends and neighbors, and it makes everything we're pitching much more palatable if you do it on a small scale. Right. Just having those little talks and not even talking about candidates sometimes will help. So
I like to, and what's been working for me is to talk about policy only, and then write down. Let's write down, if I feel like I'm holding on by a thread, I say let's pick 3 policies that would make you vote for them. But if I feel like I can have, we're cool, we can talk a little bit longer. Say what 5 policies. Like, who cares who's running? I don't care. We're not in 2020. We're just talking about what would be 5 policies. After I've described, some people don't even understand, like, what do you mean, like, policy? I'm like, the law that is written, oh, okay. So that's where we're at a lot of time. Right. So I have to understand that I understand more than them on this topic. And so it wouldn't be fair for me to even judge them, No. And so we have to break it down. And I love that they say, well, some sort of a, health care for all that included, vision and dental, and it doesn't have to be Medicare for all either, but just something like that takes care of everyone. So I write down, healthcare system. And how do you feel about education? Do you think it should be funded better? Everybody says yes. I explain how in America we fund education with property taxes. So if you live in an area that has lots of projects, lots of low-income housing, a lot of low-income families that do not make enough to pay income taxes, well, you're going to have schools that are underfunded. A lot of people don't know that. So they would like for our education system to be funded equally federally, whether they're left or right. So we write down education for all, and you start seeing this unfold. And then it's easy at the end for me to say, well, let's look up which candidate best falls in line. And it's Bernie every time. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Every time.
Okay. Real quick, because I want to try to wrap us up in the next 22 minutes. So we're done at midnight, our time. Did you have anything to add on Amy Klobuchar or Pete Buttigieg? Because I don't think there's really anything important. They dropped out. They endorsed Biden.
I don't care want you guys to know that Pete is a very scary candidate.
And the more you look into them, worse it gets.
He is the CIA, like, he's their pick. And, I would love to say that I am super proud of the CIA and all the work they've done. There might be a handful of times that, I could look up right now and be like, okay, yeah, they were at the right place at the right time and helped us not something. But for the most part, it's not that. It's not that. And I don't want the CIA picking any of our candidates ever. Pete's scary. So I guess what I would leave with that is, if you guys haven't seen the video of him when he was younger, he wrote an essay And it was either for his dissertation or to get into college or out of, I really don't know. So I can't tell you the facts of what age he was or what he wrote it for, but it was important, this paper. And it was all about Bernie and how he was the best candidate and who inspires him is Bernie Sanders. And
right, and his dad was a huge supporter.
right, what happened? Like, what happened? And unfortunately, and I may be wrong, maybe I am wrong, I feel like it was connections and money and nothing that would make me encouraged to support him.
He met Mark Zuckerberg. That's what happened.
Facebook. They went to college together.
They did.
Yeah, one of the first 200 names in the
Facebook ruins everything.
Yeah, when it was just in college, when it hadn't made it, national, let alone international.
Right. He was in the first 300, I think, people using it. 3 or 5, but I'm pretty sure it's 3. Yeah, so that's one thing about him. Mike Bloomberg, I don't have a lot to say on him. He has mentioned that he's going to still be campaigning against Trump, so still spending money on ads, doing that, which is important. That's nice. It's a better way to spend your money than whatever. But I still think that we should get the plutocracy out. Warren, I really hope she just makes a better choice than she did last time. I think she should endorse Bernie to show her support because this is a movement, and she said that she's just like him.
Right.
Just and it's woman, not, right?
CC Sleeper doesn't think that it matters much, the endorsement. And maybe in grand scheme of things at the end of a day, it wouldn't. However, I'm talking about the grand scheme of things when, in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, when historians are looking, or not, just 5 months from now, when we're looking back at the data, we can say, wow, a lot of American citizens really like this movement. They're really willing to fight this. We can know what we have support for. It's kind of like why the census is so important every 10 years. If you're not represented in the national census, then you're not represented and you stay in the shadows for another decade. Well, this would be 4 years and not a decade, but it's important. It's important that this movement has a wide variety of people. This liberation theology, there were so many people behind Martin Luther King, who also called himself a democratic socialist, which if you look up the policies, they're just social democrats. But, a lot of people don't know. They're scared of the S word. The liberation theology was the same. There were Muslims who were religious, and there were cultural Muslims. There were preachers and church leaders, youth group. There were atheist leaders. There were Jewish leaders. There were culturally Jewish leaders. There were religiously Jewish. Everybody wanted to be a part of this because it was pretty much the golden rule. Do unto others and all the other good things that I said, like, you'll be judged by how you treat the least among you. And I feel like maybe it wouldn't change the tide of things in this immediate moment if she did. I do feel like it would be better for him. It might not change the tide, but it wouldn't be worse for him. I do feel like a part of me thinks that she is going to do the same thing she did in 2016, which is
do nothing until
other people choose for you, so then you can back that person, which to me is cowardly. We need strong, brave leadership, not someone.
She says she.
I won't
is all she does.
Yeah, I don't believe her.
No, and so this goes back to what you were saying about 75 seconds ago, where when we look back in the history books, even 6 months from now, if we look back, we want to see what the record was. this is another reason. There were two more reasons I didn't list earlier why I don't trust Elizabeth Warren, besides the Standing Rock thing and the Pocahontas thing, which I think is still immature, but if it's used, it's effective. The other two things is, one, she votes for Trump's military budget twice, and two, she didn't endorse Bernie last time.
Right.
If it mattered in 2016, it's going to matter now, right? That's my whole spiel. Like, she already said it, just making the point and the connection. That's already annoyed by it. Like I said before, this is redemption.
Right.
She can make the right choice.
Be a part of the conversation in this movement. You know, if you don't participate, you can't be mad that your voice isn't represented in this movement that is happening. It is going to continue happening. You know, we're ushering in the second progressive era. If history shows us anything, which it shows us so much, is that pendulum swings hard when it needs to overcorrect, and it's happening. So,
okay.
You know, in our life, we will see Medicare for all. We will.
I sure hope so.
No,
I sure hope so.
That for sure.
For sure?
For sure. Yeah.
So this is the part of the conversation where I kind of want to switch gears.
Yeah.
But I can't, because there's one more thing I had to share.
Okay.
This is a really good segue, though, I promise. Going back to kind of the beginning, I said I would share more on Tulsi Gabbard. And I don't think she's going to win. That ain't happening. I know that. Why she's still in? I don't know. I don't know. But it would be wonderful to see her on the debate stage again. That would be absolutely great. That would put Bernie back in the lead, because I agree with what some people say on Twitter. This is why they don't want Bernie on the debate stage, and they show what happened to Kamala Harris.
Right. No,
they think she's going to Kamala Biden.
Tulsi helps move the conversation to the left.
She does.
Just as Mike Gravel did.
She's much more populist. It's not just the left. She's much more populist.
Much more anti-war, and she's more anti-war than any candidate that has ever ran that I know of. Yes. And I like history. She is very anti-war. And go look into who some of the funders of MSNBC are. You know, like Raytheon and the military-industrial complex funds the media. So the media, therefore, is never going to actually be critical of war. It just isn't going to happen. They're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. And Tulsi spits in their face. That's why she doesn't get a leg in.
Right. So let me give you a couple examples here. Before we came on, about an hour before we aired, I log into Twitter about 9:30 every Friday night, and go to check my email, and always look at what's trending. It's the time of the week that I do, honestly. And what's trending there, oddly enough, which I hate, is hashtag Hillary on Hulu.
Right.
Right.
Dumb dingling in a pantsuit.
Yeah. Also, stuff on Bernie. Yep. And something about Elizabeth Warren too, like endorsing Bernie or endorsing Biden. The other thing is let Tulsi debate, and it has 10.9 thousand tweets. I look again in 10 minutes. It has 11,500, 11,500 tweets. Another half an hour, it has 12.4 thousand tweets. So it is definitely trending. And the Hillary on Hulu is 12.4 thousand. So that they were about the same. They were like competing, which is funny. Funny to me if you follow Tulsi and you see the Tulsi.
It boils my blood. Do you
Yeah.
know why that even exists? Okay, so Bernie went on Joe Rogan and the pearl clutchers clutch their pearls, what? He's had on people that I don't like, that are mean. And so that means Bernie is all those things. Right. They all threw a fit, including Hillary. Well, Hillary goes on Howard Stern. If you're going to be critical of anyone, Joe Rogan, Howard Stern. Howard Stern throws hot dogs at girls' boobs on his show. Come on. Okay. So, and I don't care either one. I think they're both should do you, boo. Like, I don't care. But really, you're going to be mad about Joe Rogan, but Howard Stern. So when Hillary gets done with Howard Stern, she's so excited about the format. Like, she thinks, I could get a lot of people to hear my opinion. I will be relevant again. So she gets her people and tells them what she just did is what, on Howard Stern, is what she wants to do. She wants to have a podcast, a talk show where she brings on people and talks about them. And people around her, I guess their yes people, were like, that's a fantastic idea. Ah! And so they helped her do it. That's why we have Hillary Clinton on Hulu. That's what's keeping her relevant. I can't. And unfortunately, I'm probably going to see some of it because it's going to be impossible.
Yeah, no,
halfway.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch this.
We're going to have to hate rage watch it.
Yeah, basically.
Make some rage popcorn.
Yep.
Remember the Muppets? The little yep.
So this thing with Tulsi's happening.
Yeah.
And what I want us to point out is that it's being mentioned in the news a little bit, just like, oh, hey, there is still technically a woman in the race, right? Oh, yeah, but it doesn't look like she's going to make the debate, right? No, it doesn't look, no, because the DNC just announced that the next debate for March, you have to have 20% of the allocated delegates, whatever. And they're not focusing on the point that they have changed the rules.
Right.
She did qualify.
What she has, so they can go above it.
Yeah, basically. And like, it's disgusting. And the media is not helping, as it always fucking doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? They don't focus on anything from the left. They have to have like Anna Kasparian come on and like slap some logic down every now and then, but we don't get enough of it. So this is the other thing. This is where I was going to screen share again. Here we go. All right. This struck me angry before we went live tonight. So here's this. Do you know what's missing, Christy?
She's imposed. Yeah, like, where is she?
She is the missing 30%. She should be number 2 on here.
Right.
She's not at the bottom. She's not where she shouldn't be where the C4 results is. She's the missing 30%. And the Washington Post couldn't say it better. Thank you. Democracy dies in darkness. Fuck Washington Post.
Right there on there. So, that's like the Democrats calling themselves the Democrats. Like, they care about actual democracy.
Yeah. So feel free to clip this as well. Highlight the democracy dies in darkness and hashtag let Tulsi debate. And don't pay attention to my other notes.
Right.
So, okay. That's something I wanted to point out. And now here, this is the segue. because this is part of the issue. What do we do now? Right? What do we do? Well, we keep fighting. But now, I guess I want to push this a little further. What happens if Bernie loses? What do we do then? I think there are a few questions we need to ask ourselves, and we can go through one at a time, even though I said we have like 6 minutes left. I think first thing we should do is just overthrow, like, just disintegrate what we call the DNC. That needs to just be gone. If not if he loses, but if they cheat him. If they cheat him, they need to be demolished. I think it would be a good thing to make a third party. I think that's something that we would need. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm out of focus.
Well, we have the Green Party. It is a third party. And we have the Libertarian Party, which is also a third, so a fourth party. So we would have to have a fifth party.
Right. And it's just not, it's not enough. When we have people-led movements like that, like a grassroots kind of political party, they tend to be ignored. When we grassroots fund a campaign, when we back someone with a platform, it works for us. But if we don't have anyone with a platform to lead a party, then we're not going to have a successful party. So the only way I think it would work, making some kind of labor party or something like that, is have Bernie, Tulsi, AOC, all of our real progressives leave the Democratic Party, including Elizabeth Warren, because she wants to be a leader and show everyone how to lead. This is something she should do. Leave the party, show you're a progressive. Do that. That's what I think. That's what I like. If they are only going to shit on us, we need to let them go and die by themselves politically, because that's what they're going to do. And then they can just split the vote amongst the other conservatives. What's the big deal? There really isn't one, but we need someone to lead that, or else it wouldn't work. I'm not just going to go make one myself because I have no platform. So that's what I think. You are muted, Christy. I'm sorry.
Those are solid points. Those are all things that we should be prepared to not just think about, but talk about. We don't know. We don't know, but we cannot have two parties that are both bought out. It's
right.
The point then. And then it's not of, by, and for the people. It's of, by, and for the corporations. And we have a constitution that shows that. They will have taken it and made it so that it only benefits them. They're stacking the Supreme Court with corporate people who have chosen corporations over people, almost every single time. Single time. It's scary, and that's why I don't see this as she can take care of herself and she's just protecting herself, Warren, from her political future. That would be okay and all if we weren't in an emergency. We are in an emergency. I am reading this book, which that reminds me of the emergency and how important it is for us to be able to persuade people into voting correctly, persuade them without persuading them. You want to convince people to understand the truth. You want to show them to understand the truth. You want them to be able to understand the truth, and because of being informed, vote appropriately. Well, this book is by Ben Burgess. It's called Give Them an Argument, Logic for the Left. And it's really good so far. And I thought it was really important if you guys or anyone wants to be able to, make very strong, logical arguments from the left. And that's one thing that I find a lot of people who vote on the left, who care about the same things and want the same things, are a little bit woo-woo-y. Like they are, they just are. They believe all the right things, but for the wrong reasons. And so it's difficult if they get caught arguing with someone who is very logical, even if they're wrong, to do that. So I found this book, even though a few things I've been like, duh. I thought it's really important to show and teach everybody. And I thought it starts with the left must learn to argue. Many serious leftists have learned to distrust talk of logic and logical fallacies associated with right-wing logic bros like Ben Shapiro. This is a serious mistake, unlike the neoliberal technocrats who can point to social problems and tell people, trust us. The serious left must learn how to argue and persuade. In this book, Give Them an Argument, Ben Burgess, who is a professor, by the way, arms his readers with the essential knowledge and formal logic and informal fallacies. Ben Burgess understands that in order to persuade people to join a political movement, you have to master the techniques of rigorous argumentation. He masterfully exposes the cheap sophistry of right-wing philosophy and shows why there's still a place for logic and reason in political discourse, especially on the left. This is a crucial handbook for those who want to crush or destroy the Ben Shapiros of the world. I thought it's been so good so far. So I think it was like under $10 on Amazon. I know Amazon, I shouldn't, but I really wanted this book. So we have
Sometimes
Amazon
you have to.
Prime for our TV.
We do too. Yeah, we do too. Oh, I get it. I get it. So
that's it. Really important. And you know how I don't like to debate? I'm feeling like there's going to come a time where that might be the only way to get through to somebody. So I'm glad we're a team. I can feed you facts and you can debate them.
There we go. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, just have my nerd glasses on and I'll be in a box somewhere with a headphone in and be like, tell them this, running through the books, tell them this.
Teamwork,
Teamwork makes the motherfucking dream work.
That's right. So I want to answer a question, and this question is perfect for the route I wanted to take in this anyways.
Okay.
So CC Sleeper had another question for us. Thank you for the questions tonight, by the way.
Really good questions.
Yeah. At LEAH Podcast, do you count winning the nomination by superdelegates / second round voting cheating? Why or why not? Do you want to answer first?
No, go for it.
Okay. So yes, I do. I do because the excuse me, it goes against the will of the voters. And there's an easier way to do this, which I'll get to in a second. One, it makes many people's votes just don't count. That's the first thing. Two, it seems a little too authoritative to me to have the government, which most people hate, choose who your candidates are. I don't like that. If someone has the popular vote, that should take it. If you want to contest that, the easier way to do this is what Tulsi advocates for a lot, which is one of the reasons she's my number 2 pick all the way, is paper ballots and ranked choice voting.
Yes.
Ranked choice voting. You don't need superdelegates. You just don't. Superdelegates are much less democratic way to do this.
Right. And you know
voting.
How many actual human citizen voters one superdelegate replaces?
10,000.
Right. That's subverting democracy. That means some person who is very privileged, who has their own opinions, can see the majority of the people in the district that she has the power, or he or they have the power to subvert democracy on. They can see the will of the people and go, nah, and change it.
Okay.
I don't feel that that is right. However,
sounds like cheating to me.
CC Sleeper, those are the rules right now. So it would not be legally cheating. So I feel like the more democracy, the better. And every time we better or change the rules, it should be to better, to create more democracy, to be more inclusive. And that would be a very easy fix. Again, the only way we're going to get fixes like that is by taking a hard turn in our country and deciding that we're willing to fight for people we don't know.
Right. And Tulsi shouldn't be in the race right now.
I agree.
But you shouldn't change the rules to keep her out of the debate.
I agree 100%. They shouldn't have changed the rules to allow Bloomberg to enter.
That's also cheating.
Have changed the rules about political memes so that Bloomberg could have political memes. I mean, it's just the money. Yeah. The money speaks. The money makes the laws. The money gets what it wants, and the people don't have the money. Therefore, the system needs to be leveled out a little bit, more fair. I'm not saying there shouldn't be rich people. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. Just saying it should just not be so cruel.
Yeah, I think no matter how this turns out, if I have just enough time in my life, I don't care if Biden wins or Bernie wins or Trump wins. I want to start a campaign to abolish the DNC. Either way. I'm fucking sick of them.
Oh yeah, it's so gross.
So sick of them. And I don't know what it would take, but I'm going to start with signatures.
Yeah. No, it's a private corporation. A private corporation that can do at its will with the Democratic voters' will.
I like your tattoo.
You like that tattoo?
I like that tattoo.
It matches my brother from another mother.
Oh.
Mighty Twin Powers activate.
So yeah. So the other issue on this, related to the DNC and related to the Tulsi thing and related to subverting democracy, is the media.
Oh, they're so responsible, right?
They are so responsible.
You guys, go on YouTube and type in Manufacturing Consent by Noam Chomsky.
Yes.
Hit play, close your eyes, and learn something, because we're watching it play out, and it's gross.
So I think we need laws back in place. So
agree.
That falls back the ones that you had talked about earlier.
The only time we could get any laws like that passed is if we decide to take a strong turn. Biden is not going to do that.
Yes. We also have to allow our journalists to record what's happening at war. So we can see things that we would hate to see.
Yeah, and allow
change a lot
the International Criminal Court. You've seen what's going on. We need to allow them to do their job.
Yeah.
They're not a partisan hack. They're a third party looking in, and they have found significant factual evidence that there are massive war crimes committed, and they need to do what the International Criminal Court was set up by the United States and other countries to do. We're not above the law, and I think that the only way we're going to be able to live in a country where we're equal with everyone else, and that if we commit war crimes, we have to pay for them just like any other country, would be if we decide as a people to go ahead and take this chance. And
we are above the law. Yeah. I'm going to disagree with you. We are actively above the law.
Yeah.
And why do...
Apparently.
Yeah. You can clip this part. I'll re-say it. Hold on. We are above the law. America is above the law actively. And why do we overthrow other regimes? Dictators. Why do we overthrow dictators?
Yep. So we can control their economy.
Mm-hmm. But what's the reason we give? Because their dictators act like they are above
the law.
Strange. Our country acts like a dictator over other countries.
Right.
That's strange, right? So should someone overthrow us?
Right. It makes you think.
By our own argument.
Own argument, yes. We are hypocrites a lot. There's a lot of things by our own argument we would be doing different. Yes. You know, we would be going into Saudi Arabia and doing a regime change because of war crimes.
Right.
And human rights abuse. We would be going into Israel and doing a regime change because of war crimes and human rights abuse. I could keep going.
This is the kind of talk that's going to get us in trouble.
Right.
Should someone overthrow America? Yes, by our own argument, yes.
By our own
argument. Say logically sound. I do not want any. Go ahead.
State, if you don't have anything to hide, if you're completely innocent, allow the International Criminal Court to do its job.
Yeah. Support them in it. Help them.
Yeah. An innocent person or organization or conglomerate would help the law and order.
Law and order. No one's above the law. No one. We all have to work together to make sure the law's being abided.
Yep. We need to have, now there's a war on drugs and a war on the homeless, and we need to have a war on oligarchy. And I feel like this part, because I like history so much and I read so much of it, I do think that it wouldn't be unlikely for, in 100 years from now, for this time to be looked back on like it was a generational, time in the country. It was the young butting up against the old. It was out with the old and in with the new. And, the old were scared, and it is scary. Change is scary. But if nothing changes, then nothing changes. Like, that's the problem.
True that.
It has to change.
It's as simple as that. It really is.
And you can't stop change. Change will happen anyway. So you can either accept it and help it be the best type of change, or move out of the way. Right.
So last point I want to make on that, because I don't want to say what I had just said without saying this last part. By our own argument, yes, we should be overthrown. By any means necessary, honestly. But
the human rights abuses,
there's a better, we have to stop those. Those are serious crimes. They're killing people. We could just fucking stop it. Right? We could take responsibility for our own actions, and we could just start watching ourselves better. We can start getting better legislation to keep ourselves from doing the stupid things that we do.
Be leaders in the world.
We could lead by example instead of by power.
We already have the power. We don't have to be bullies. We have the scariest military in the history of everdom. Yeah. So, now it's just, what do we do with great power comes great responsibility, and we fucked it up. I don't know. We fucked it up. We have to fix it.
Yeah. Do you have your top 5 VP picks? Or do you at least have top 3?
I have my top, if in a perfect world, like I explained earlier, if I could, live it, that egalitarian future that I think is worth fighting for. I would love Nina Turner.
Start from 5. Start from
my number 1.
I know.
But that's not reasonable. And my reason why is that there is a good 47% of this country that is not ready. They are too emotionally immature to handle someone so authentic. They just are. Yeah. And but yeah, I love her. I just she does it for the right reasons.
She's wonderful.
for the right reasons. And she's just
She
a
really is.
lightning rod, man. I just, hello somebody. I want a shirt that says that so bad. With you do the Bernie outline with the glasses. There's that T-shirt. I want her hair outline with the glasses that says hello somebody. Love her. And then, but my political strategist choice would be Warren. Unfortunately, she wouldn't be my dream or my moral choice at all. She would be my strategic choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any more, or just those two for now?
There's a few more that I would be okay with.
Go for it.
Well, let me see. Oh, brain fart. Georgia. What is her name?
Stacey Abrams?
Yes. And because she fights really hard against voter suppression. Really hard. That she's made that that's her thing. And she would be willing to get money out of politics. And so if we could get money out of politics and voter encouragement instead of suppression, we'd be a totally different country. I mean, like, immediately.
If Stacey Abrams was on the Biden ticket, would you vote for Biden?
Only if he was the only choice. Like, I would be like, well, she makes it better because it would have to be someone that I really like as the vice president for me to swallow that.
Yeah, it'd be hard.
Yeah.
I would have to do a lot more research on
like, if he picked Nina Turner, I would vote for Biden. Because
like the opposite of what
she will
Hillary
do all
Clinton
the work for him. Like, she'll be like, listen, go sit over there and say funny things about Pony Soldier Boys and stuff. It's fine. I got this.
Better yet, don't talk at all.
Yes. I just would love a world where the Polish and Russian leaders have to shake Nina Turner's hand. A strong, Black, independent woman who understands herself, who is authentic, because that's a world where now everyone is starting to get, represented.
Yeah.
And
hello,
I know
everybody.
that Poland and the Russian leadership are very prejudiced, and to make it in a world where, in order for your country and our country to flourish and be allies, you have to talk to our leaders. And I think it would humanize an entire population for people who are so small-minded. And so Nina Turner's going places. She's such a light in this dark world.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other people I like can't be because they aren't born here.
Yeah.
So.
Who would they be? Real quick, the two.
Ro Khanna. I mean, I'm not sure where Ro Khanna's born, but he could be in top leadership in this country in any department, and he would better that department. He is a good person.
He would have been one of mine.
Yes, I love me some Ro Khanna. AOC. AOC 2028.
She was born here. She's just not. Yeah, she's just not old enough
she'll
yet.
Still be too young. This country might be ready for a female president. I do believe they are. It just has to be the right one, but not a young one. I don't think that's why Gabbard. I mean, Gabbard has a lot of leadership qualities, but she's not much older than me. She's like, what, 47?
Who?
40.
Gabbard?
How old is Gabbard?
No, she's 38.
See, yeah, that's never going to work in this.
Right. And AOC is 30.
I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm saying that's the way that it is.
Yeah.
And it's wrong. A great leader is a great leader, but that is very young. It is.
Mm-hmm. If AOC stays on it, though, she has a lot of light on her right now. If she's going to go for president, she should do it here with the first chance she gets, because she'll have the most light on her now. As the next 10 years
never taken a dollar from anything or anyone that she's not beholden to.
Right.
So she answers to the people who pay her bills. Yeah. She gets paid a salary by the taxpayers, and that's who she represents. And that, to me, is a beautiful thing. I wouldn't care if there were tons of conservatives that had been elected, if they weren't beholden to anyone but their constituents. That means those people decided they wanted this person as a leadership, and that person is looking out for their best interest. I'm for it. I just think that we need to get that taken care of, and that will eliminate anyone who is doing it for the wrong reasons. For the most part, there's always going to be some weirdo. Don't want to speak in absolutes in this community. It'll be like, you said that one time. That one time. And I'm calling you out. Gotta keep you honest. Oh, I appreciate you.
I love you, Christy.
I love you too. Oh.
All right. So I have some.
Okay.
So, all right. Should I start at the top as you did? Okay. Mine, if it's not apparent already, no surprise to anyone. Go ahead and say it. Do you know it? Tulsi Gabbard, yeah. Of course. But for the reason of, not only do I agree with her policies of stop endless wars and her ranked choice voting, those are my two top reasons. The next close third, she is so poised. Like, she can fucking talk to people. She is presidential. Like, she would be a wonderful first woman president because she can walk the walk and talk the talk so goddamn well. It's so hard to hate her when you're not hearing lies about her. It's so hard. The other reason on top of that is that she's backed Bernie the whole goddamn time. She left her seat at the DNC when she saw that he was being cheated. Who better to take up the mantle than Tulsi Gabbard? I think she's earned her stripes there. If we're looking for a progressive person, she doesn't agree with everything Bernie goes for, but she does lean populist. She does change her mind to fit her constituents, and she is grassroots. And I love that about her. Even when I disagree with her, I usually understand why she leans the way she does. She doesn't go for Medicare for all, but
that's why a lot of people like her, because even if they disagree, they're like, but she's not like giving it to me wrong. She's giving it to me how she sees it. I think she is a woman who's not white, who is the right person. So that's where I would, how Warren was using it, but I'm a woman first. This is a person who is amazingly qualified. To me, too young still for such a job. I think in 10 years, just imagine how she's going to evolve and change. Imagine 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was 33. I'm 43 now. What a world of difference. And so she's just hopefully going to get better if she keeps staying on the I'm going to do the right thing for the right reasons track and not take a dollar of corporate or PAC money. Yeah, definitely. She and keep representing the people. A lot of people didn't understand why she voted a few ways that she did in Hawaii compared to how the country voted. But when you go and ask the people she represented, that's what they were there in her office telling her, please do for them, So I think that's very important too. And I think that she could be the person who is the most qualified and happens to be a woman of color. That would be amazing.
I
and brave
love
enough
the idea
to run for president in her 30s. So
and I think like if she could take vice president, and I've said this on the show like months ago, if she could be vice president for 8 years, she's obviously way more fucking qualified then, and she's already like overqualified for the job maybe. So that would position her very well. You throw AOC on that ticket, they just win for another fucking 8 years. And then they win for another 8 years if AOC takes over after that. That's like my dream world. That would be fucking amazing. Why the hell not? So dream big. All right, my number 2 choice I put down as Nina Turner. Number 1 reason, because Christy loved her so goddamn much.
I do. I love her so much.
Yeah, but she has so much passion.
Yeah.
She backs Bernie so much, and she's got such a great vision, and she's just so wonderfully progressive.
I've heard her, a Christian woman, but she's more of the liberation theology, mention atheists by name so many times, saying, I represent my atheist brothers and sisters. I represent that's such, we're there. Represent us, bitch. And she does. And that's all we're asking is for you to say, I see you. I'm going to think about you when I write this policy. That's all we're asking.
Yeah. As an anti-theist, as I like to remind people I am, policy-wise, I want you in the room, right? Because you need to be represented. You need to give your side of things while I'm bashing you or whatever, right? I believe in democracy, and I believe in representation. As long as there are Christians or Hindus or any religious sect, there needs to be representation for them. And when someone shows the same favor, a religious person calling out atheists and everyone else, I respect it. Because that's what we need. So yes, Nina Turner. My 3rd pick, and I shouldn't even say this one because he wasn't even born here. Actually, the rest just weren't born here. Those were my 2 viable candidates. I'm sorry, guys. So I guess I'm gonna do the thing. My next one would be Cenk Uygur.
Yeah, he would
be a bulldog, like
strong vice president.
Yeah. Oh God, it would just be a bloodbath for anyone who went up against the Sanders administration, because it would just elbow bomb everyone down the row. And Tulsi would too. That's another reason I want her because she's just a bulldog. She will fight you and bite you, and she will smile while doing it. It's wonderful.
I think that she should be on the next administration.
Yeah.
And somewhere where she's dealing with world
Secretary
leaders
of State
and a diplomatic, something where she can stop war by diplomacy, because I feel like she's really, really good at that.
Yeah. Yeah, she wants to make it a Department of Peace. I'm all for that.
Right, me too.
So, yeah, that's that. And I didn't want to get into all of the people that I want in there who can't be, but I'm just going to go ahead and just run down the list, which is AOC, obviously. She can't be yet. Ilhan Omar, she's towards the top of my list because of just her fucking boldness and her passion and the movement that she has and everything she has against her, and still having that movement. And Francesca Fiorentini. Yeah.
I love her. I think she might be my spirit animal.
Yes.
She is a doorbell.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh God. And she's old enough. She was just born in Argentina.
Yeah.
So way to be born in the wrong place. So, and she'd be the funniest person in the White House yet.
She's a gem.
Yeah, and if we can't have her, if I had to pick someone else viable, I don't know, Stephen Colbert. That's the fucking best I got. Or Jimmy Fallon. I give up. They'd be great. I would vote for them, but still.
That would be funny.
Next I have are just a list of comedians. That's it. So, yeah, so I hope we all
My dream president would be someone like Sagan.
Oh yeah.
Someone that's, kind and smart and gentle and curious and skeptical and kind. Like, that's so important. Governments are not businesses. It's a group of people that should care about each other, not be at each other's throats. And I think he understood that so much, that we're insignificant in this massive galaxy. It's crazy that we're here, but in some way we are. And maybe it's a way for the stars to know that they exist. Who knows? Nobody knows. Let's learn about it. Like, yes, that would be my dream president, would be someone like him.
Yeah.
That probably won't happen.
If Neil deGrasse Tyson would run, he would do well. He would do well.
I mean, I would like to think he would, but
I think he would.
He gets a lot of hate.
He does. And he says a lot of stupid things, but also,
yeah.
I would start.
I would probably vote for him.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
He's our next big chance.
I don't know how he is on like foreign policy, but he would be great for an insular, policy, national policy, domestic policy, for education and science, right? But he would probably be smart enough to hire people that did understand foreign policy and that would have his best interest. So I don't know.
Yeah.
In a perfect world. Nanu.
I've caught on that he is pretty progressive, because Smitty's asking like what's his policy positions. He doesn't really get too political. He really tries to stay out of it. But when you listen to him as much as I have, like last year, I spent a lot of time. Yeah, Star Talk and Cosmos, all that. He's definitely one for good education. And that is like a main tenet of human. Like, he is a humanist.
Yeah,
definitely
a communicator about everything he talks about. Yeah. Climate,
war. I'm not sure exactly how he is on foreign policy. I know he has helped the military with things in the past, but I don't know how he feels about some things. But I feel like he's more empathetic than most people would imagine. Because again, I've listened to a lot of his stuff.
That's huge.
Yeah. So anyways.
He resides in reality, and that changes everything. Because our politics, from everyone I hear, everyone I talk to, my friends all over the planet say, it's like a drama. Everybody watches our politics from everywhere, because whatever decisions are made here are felt around the world. And that's why we got to get it right.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're done.
Yeah.
We've hit the 2-hour mark.
It was a crazy week.
I told Nacho this is going to be an hour, at least. So,
Nacho.
Just the one topic. And I was going to cover another one, but no time. There's not even enough time to mention what it was going to be. So I do want to call out real quick the live chat conversation of the night, if you're all ready. I don't know how to pronounce your dad's last name the correct way. Ballinger. Chet Ballinger. Thank you. I'm sorry, Chet. I was going to say Bollinger. Ballinger. That makes sense. All right. Chet Ballinger said, Iowa fucked Bernie. Brantley immediately responded with, it's on Pornhub. Almost lost my shit when I read that. So thank you. Thank you both. So with that, everyone have a wonderful weekend, and
he's a goofball. Stay humanist, for God's sake.
Humanist, for God's sake.